All right, G Squad. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up our onion. So I'm not going to use this entire onion, just half of it. And you can use as much onions as you want in your recipe. Let me pan in just a little further, y'all, for y'all. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead, after I remove the rest of the skin, and begin dicing this onion up into nice bite-sized pieces. You can cut your onion up the way that you want. There's no fancy technique that I'm using. I'm just getting it done. That's all. Okay. And how's everybody doing today out there? I know you're doing well, per usual. I'm claiming it. And thank you once again for stopping in. Literally just cut them up in little small pieces. Add some more to that. Can you see what I'm doing, fam? Okay, so that's to my liking. Alright, so now I have a bowl here. I'm just going to go ahead and add these to this bowl. Okay, so I'm going to push this off to the side. So now I'm going to also add to this, I'm using some tarragon. Okay, so I'm going to use a few sprigs of these. About that much. So I'm going to rinse them off. Just a little light rinse because I don't want them wet, soggy in my mixture. So I'm just going to dry them off. So now I'm just going to go ahead in now and just cut these up, you know, as fine as I can. Actually, I'm going to slide them off the stem. Okay, and the easiest way to slide these off the stem is you go the opposite direction in which your leaves are growing. So if they're growing upwards this way, you want to slide them down. Okay, you see how easily that came off? I didn't have it in the camera. I just realized. Let me do it again. And I'm using a new camera, so I'm just getting accustomed to it. But so far, I love the way it looks. Comment below. Let me know if you notice a difference and if you like it. So here it is again. The leaves are growing upwards, so I'm just going to slide it down. Oh, slide it down. You see how easily it comes off? Okay, here it is again. And just slide. Okay? Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead in with my knife. Still feel one more in here. Oh, it smells so good. Alright, so now just gonna go ahead in and just chop it up in small pieces. And this is gonna add like some beautiful color to it and a nice taste. I almost cut my fingernail, y'all. Okay, so here we are. So now I'm just going to add this to the bowl as well. I'm going to use this for later. Okay, so now Also to this, I'm going to go ahead and add, I'm going to add like a teaspoon of this Dijon mustard. Okay, so just go ahead in with like a teaspoon. Okay, maybe like that much. Can you see that? Focus. Okay, so I add that to the bowl. Take a little more. And here's my bowl right here. Then I'm going to add, take my lettuce out. I'm going to add a little honey to that. Okay, that's good right there. And also I'm going to go in and add some juice, just a small amount, not a lot of lemon juice. Let me pan your back some. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going to add some lemon to that. I already washed my lemon off. So again, just a small amount. That's enough right there. Okay, like half a teaspoon, even half of a teaspoon. Okay, so now I'm going to also add to that some black pepper. So now my salt, I'm not going to add my salt to this mixture. I'm actually going to go in, I add like a half a teaspoon of black pepper. My salt I'm going to add to my patty actually as my patty is cooking, because I don't want to add the salt and then it begins to marinate in there and then it's going to throw the, you know, the burger off. Okay, so now I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to try not to pause this video and just keep mulling through. Okay, so just clean some of that up. So now we're going to bring in our fish. So I have here, these are my two salmon. I washed them off. And these are just little individual packets that I picked up from Whole Foods. So now what we're going to do is, if you have a sharp knife and you're really skillful at separating your skin from your fish without losing some of your fish, then by all means do so. But for the sake of this video, since we're going to be cutting this up anyway, I'm just going to use my bare hands and I'm just going to pull the skin away from the actual fish. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it gets all, you know, mushed up and stuff, because we're cutting it up anyway. Okay, so you just want to try to, you know, preserve, you know, your fish. And would you know, these nails, because I just had my nails done, y'all, they're kind of lengthy, so bear with me as I separate this. Okay, like I said, it doesn't matter if it breaks up, you're making a patty out of it anyway. Okay, so now I am going to get my knife because it is kind of slippery in my hands. Okay, so just cut the rest of that off like so. And I really should be using my cutting board, you know, doing this, so. The same thing, just gonna separate it from the skin. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now that I have my fish separate, what I'm going to do is half of this, I'm going to cut it up in like cubes, little bite-sized pieces. Okay, so about this size. And again, for those of you, you know, who you know, have issues with texture and touching meat, just, you know, use your gloves, of course, for this part. You know, I get it. So And I am making this this is going to be for 2 people. And so if you're making it for a larger family, or depending on the size of your burger, then you know, you adjust the recipe, the ingredients to suit your household, okay? All right, so I just cut up a little more. Okay, so now I'm going to add this to the bowl as well. Okay, so now I'm going to add that to the bowl. So now, with the remainder of salmon, what we're going to do is we're going to go ham and just cut, because you want to make this almost like a paste. So instead of using an egg to hold my patty together, I'm going to be using the actual salmon. So I'm actually going to cut this, like I said, to the smallest pieces, and you want to make it like get it like a paste. It's not pretty to look at, no, but at the end of the day, it's going to make sense. Okay, so just go in and just cut and mash, and even mash it up as you're going along, because you want it like a pasty-like texture. And I would even say, if you wanted to use like your the mashed potato, you know, the thing you mash potatoes with, even use that. You can use that as well. And actually, as I'm saying that, let me bring that in. Okay, so let me just dry this off. Okay, so we can use this. I'm gonna use this, and I'm just gonna mash. And like I said, I know you're cringing right now, but later on you'll see. It'll make sense to you. Because the whole idea again is I don't want to use an egg in this recipe. Okay. So there we go. Alright, so it's nice and mashed. So now I'm gonna add this to the bowl. And just get it on out there. It actually feels like ground turkey. Okay, so that's the consistency that you want it to be. Add this to it. Okay, so now rinse my hands. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, let me just swing it over this direction on the stove. Let me just bring y'all here. Try to figure out how to work this out now. Okay. So here now I have my pan here, my cast iron non-stick pan. So if you have a non-stick pan, that's what we're going to use, okay? So I have that on the stove, so I'm going to go ahead now and get this started. Once this is heated up, I'm going to add to this pan some butter. About 2 tablespoons of butter, which I have here. I'm going to add this to the pan. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I can turn your back this way. Y'all know it's a lot going on, but just bear with me, okay? Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to form 2 patties out of this mixture in here. Alright, let me just put y'all back up here. Y'all, let me pause y'all and come back. Okay, family, so I have my butter in the pan now. And so it's nice and hot. And you want to have your pan on, just have your pan on like a medium heat. Alright, because these don't need to cook fast like that. So now, mixing everything up. And now I'm going to form my patty, my first patty, okay? So we're going to make I'm gonna see if I could just do 2 patties. Oh, you know what? See, sometimes you forget stuff. Add breadcrumbs. So I'm gonna add some breadcrumbs to this also. So I'm gonna turn off my grease because I don't want my grease to burn. And now I'm gonna go ahead in and add some breadcrumbs. And just add a little at a time. You don't have to add a lot, but just, you know, add it and then test it and see if it's like pasty enough for you. That makes sense. Okay, so I just want to add a little more. Okay, so this is how it looks. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and turn my fire back on. Wipe my hands off. Okay, so now I'm gonna form my patty. Okay, so this is how it looks. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add it now to my pan. So I'll make the second one. This would look so slightly bigger than that one, but okay, so this is our second patty. So now add that. And so now when you first add it to your pan, just take your hand and kind of move it around so it won't stick. Okay. You like that one? I'm going to use my spatula. Okay, so you just want to move it around in there so it won't stick at first, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some more butter to mine. Alright, so now I'm just going to allow this to cook for a few minutes. You don't want to turn it over just yet. You want to make sure it browns really good, because if you flip it too soon, it'll start to separate. So just allow it, you know, to do its thing. Have it on medium, you know, medium to low, and just let it slowly do its thing, okay? I'll pop back in. Alright, family, so now I'm going to also go in with some pink Himalayan salt. So at this time, if you want to go ahead and season it now with your salt, you can do so. So I'm just going to put a small amount on each one. Okay, so I don't know if y'all can see that. You know how that is starting to form that brown coating underneath. Can y'all see that? Let me see if I can pan y'all in. Okay, you see right here on the edge how it's starting to form that brown coating? So it's almost ready for me to flip it over. So I'll pop back in. Alright, y'all, so now I'm going to go ahead and flip over our salmon. That's the first one. Okay. So that's how it looks, alright? So now I'm going to let it go on this side for like 3 minutes, and then I'll pop back in. Alright, G Squad, so our patties are done. I turned the fire off. And the way to determine if your patties are done is that when you press on them, they have like a firmness. They're very firm, okay? So that's when you know they're done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these off to the side. And move these off. So I'm going to bring in this pan, because what we're going to do now is I'm going to be using these wraps right here as my buns instead of using hamburger buns. So I'm trying to cut back and be a little healthier as far as the bread. So this is how they look. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is to this pan. Okay, I'm going to allow this pan to heat up. And I'm not even going to add anything to the pan, and I'm just going to add these in and just warm them up. I mean, if you want to put butter or oil or anything in here, you know, to brown them more, you could do so. But for me, I'm just trying to just heat them up, okay? So I'll pop back in when they're ready. Okay, G Squad, so these are our tortillas is ready. So I'm going to add the first one to my plate. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be using some of these, this mayo that I picked up from Whole Foods. I actually thought it was vegan mayo, but you know, it'll suffice. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some mayo. To that. Add it to my second one. Ooh, it's nice and warm, okay? So now I'm going to also top that with some of this lettuce. So now I'm going to go ahead and, this is my salmon burger. You see how it has a nice char on the top? So I'm just going to add that on to my patty. Then also to that, I told you how your girl comes in at the last minute with stuff, right? Alright, G Squad, just wanted to pop back in. So I did have tomatoes. So I just wanted to show you, you know, how it looks with the tomato. Okay? So this is the full sandwich. Okay. Here we go. Yes. Salmon burger.